We stopped using Visual Studio Code.
And we replaced it with this tool.
And I know this is a controversial title, and you're gonna be like, oh my God, Kazi's back with the fucking clickbaits. I know.
You're gonna be mad at us. You're gonna be Naz, Kazi, what the fuck are you guys talking about? I don't believe you, but just listen up.
And we'll show you too. I'm gonna screen share in a second, and we'll share all of this stuff with you. But I just wanna give you context. Naz is a real senior developer, okay? Naz, when you discovered this is something you yourself are finding yourself using every single day.
I don't use VSCODE anymore,
Right.
at all.
Right.
Yes.
And the funniest thing that happened was this actually came out of like a few Instagram reels that we made.
Yes.
So one of the problems I faced was I have a lot of code in my code base, and I constantly find myself giving that context to AI like ChatGPT, so ChatGPT or Claude can work with me.
Yeah.
So I ended up creating a script that would go through my code base, clump everything together, and then I could take that .txt file that had all the code, drop that into Claude or ChatGPT, and then go, hey, write me this new feature, like login or authentication. That was taking a lot of time.
And you made a reel on that, and that reel actually blew up. It got like 500,000 views.
Yes. Yeah, that reel got crazy views because people wanted, because I realized it wasn't just me. Other people had the same problem, and they kept having to give all that context. And so when I posted that reel, what people started recommending was they started recommending this other magical IDE.
Yeah.
And some of you guys probably already know it. And then they started recommending, they're like, hey, use this other thing that already has AI built in. And my first question was, why wouldn't I just use Copilot? Because that's integrated inside of Visual Studio Code.
99% of you guys probably do use Copilot at this point.
Yes.
And you probably use it to its fullest extent. And you probably are seeing the limitations of it. You're trying to, for example, write some code, right? Or you're trying to ask Copilot to write you some code. But the problem you might be facing is, well, it doesn't know the full context of your code, right? And that was one of the biggest issues I personally had. And that's why I also always had to copy the whole file from the whole file, copy another file into the whole ChatGPT context, give it to ChatGPT, and then ask it questions. And that was extremely tedious, man.
Yes.
But then you showed me this tool, and everything for me changed.
Yes, and it was the comments that actually shared it with us, okay? So they talked about this tool, and it's called Cursor IDE.
Yes.
And this tool, if I show it to you, it looks like, this is not a sponsored video or anything like that.
No, not sponsored. We just love the tool so much, and we want to share with you with as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, why not? We want you guys to become better coders, better developers, hence you make better code overall, so
yeah. And this is something we just started using, and maybe Copilot works better than this. I have no fucking idea.
Maybe.
I switched to this, and I've just been kind of mind blown. So, first of all, it looks a lot like Visual Studio Code if you're looking at it, because it was forked from Visual Studio Code, and then they built on top of it. And my favorite things is like, I can just write code like directly within here. So for example, if I'm like, hey, like let's say that I want to just take this guy and I want to wrap it in a try catch because for some reason this debounce code fails. I just grab that, I hit Command K, and I'll just say wrap this in a try catch, for example, and I'll hit enter. And within this, it will write it, and it's already showing me what has changed. So the red is, it's deleted the edit node and the update node dimension lines. And then the green is the new stuff that it's added. And now if I want to accept it, I just hit accept. So it does that brilliantly well. I do not know if Copilot does that. It might.
It does. That part it does.
Okay, great. So maybe you do not need to use this at all. I will just say that, okay? I've just been stuck on using this, and it fucking blows my mind how well it operates. Have you used Copilot heavily? Like, but in this style?
In this style, I have used Copilot.
Okay.
Where this becomes very different is actually the part that's on the right side of on the right side that you see here on the chat. So if you look at the chat here on the right, that's something that Copilot just completely misses. Like if you want something to, Copilot to write something, you have to use a special key to actually write it. And the biggest problem is that it just does not know the full context. Now, the cool part here is, let's just say here. So we have this edit node function, if you can maybe highlight that, right?
Yep, right here.
Yep, edit node. And that edit node is coming from a specific file, so called nodes context. So click on the edit node here. Awesome. See, use nodes and edges. Beautiful.
Yep, and that's coming from context nodes and edges. Context.
Exactly. So let's just say we want to change something up in here, and we want to say, hey, instead of using edit node, use create node, because we have a create node function inside use nodes and edges. So what we do, so it's actually inside the use nodes, create and edges. There's a create node function.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you click into that, use create nodes, scroll up, and then there's create node right there.
Okay.
Right there.
Cool.
Yep. Awesome. So let's just say instead of editing a node, we want to create the node. So how will we use ChatGPT or Copilot usually? You have to like reference the one file, then reference another file. Now, with this is so different. Let's go back to the text node. Go back to the text node, Command P. Awesome. And then the right, hit that little plus icon. Awesome. And so what we want to say is the following: is like use, right? Use, and then hit at.
Oh yeah, the add is pretty sick.
Yes.
Did Copilot have that?
No. That's for Copilot.
Their add is fucking sick, dude. I can write like, if I can literally write a function name here, and it will autocomplete, and if I hit enter, it's referencing that exact function.
Exactly. You can reference a function, you can reference a file, you can reference a folder, but then hit that add again. You can reference a piece of code. You can even reference the web. You can even reference the docs. There's even like...
Oh, dude, you know what I do?
Yes.
I actually reference the git diff.
Oh, yeah, to actually write the diff in the thing.
So I go with the diff of working state, and I go use this to write my commit message.
Yes.
And I'll hit enter, and it'll actually look at the diff of what's changed, and then it'll use that to write the git message.
That's crazy.
And I'll paste it in. But anyway, sorry,
That's
keep going.
so cool. That's like Copilot has talked about actually adding that feature, but like it's just they have not released it at all yet. So.
And by the way, ChatGPT and OpenAI doesn't endorse companies and invest in them, but they are actually investing in
this is one of the only companies they're invested in, which is kind of crazy. Yeah.
Keep going. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting.
No, it's okay. It's okay. This is great stuff, guys. So this is one of the big use cases, right? Is like using Git functionality to get like the Git diff. Maybe let's just say you want to do this is diff of the working state, right?
Yeah.
Which is the working state of the thing. Awesome. So let's just say you made some changes and you want to be able to get a diff of that, so you can add it to your pull request. This is what you would get. The second thing is, let's go back to the functionality we we're talking about, which is use at. And let's use the nodes and edges context. Yeah, boom, boom.
Cool.
And great. And replace edit node inside debounce.
Edit node.
Just say edit node.
Okay, I understand. Edit node inside
debounce with create node.
With
create node.
Should I reference the actual create node?
It should kind of know it.
Yeah, because we've already given it context.
Yeah, let's hope it does. Now, and then there's two things here, right? So maybe I want to explain what is the stuff on the bottom right here. So if you can maybe like do boom. Oh, don't function. Oh, there we go.
This stuff here?
No, like GPT-4o, mention, image, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, so for example, like I can add in an image if I wanted to, and if I actually hit Command Enter, it will go through the entire code base. So then you don't have to do that script that I made manually that I would feed GPT all the time. So you can Command Enter, and sometimes it could show you like the code you need to add to 5 different files. And then you hit Apply, and then it starts adding it to 5 different files. But okay, so continue with the example. Do you want me to hit enter at this point, or what do you want me to do?
Just go ahead and hit enter at this point.
Okay, so I'll hit enter, and now it's starting to do its generation.
And boom, there it is, right? And that's it. So it right away tells you here to replace a text node, make sure to create the create node, blah blah blah. And then if you hit apply, you see on the bottom where it says apply.
Yep. So I'll hit apply here, and then it'll start applying it to this.
Boom. Done.
So now create node is coming through.
Create node, create node.
You know what's fucking sick?
Yeah.
So I love this. I'll tell you actually. Do you want to expand on this?
No, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So I'll share this with you. So this is an amazing use case of it. And this reminded me of like similar use case that I actually had today. So I wanted to create a new node for articles, right? So like, for example, like if we go to, we're not open on sell that app. Okay, so let's see if I can open this here real quick. So we have, is this fine to share?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So this and this. Okay, so we have different types of nodes in our app right now, right? We have the, this is the code that we have is for this app that we're building.
Called Pop AI.
Yes.
Plug.
And so we have like different types of nodes. Like we have stuff that can handle YouTube videos, stuff that can handle Loom videos. So for example, like if I go ahead here and I paste, what's your
Command V.
What's your clipboard?
Oh,
can you do it?
Yep. Option Command V. There
okay,
we go.
So let's go youtube.com, and if I go to
some kind of a YouTube video.
A YouTube video, and I paste this like Alex Ramosi video, for example.
Yep.
What's going to happen is going to paste this node, right? So this is an example of a YouTube node, and I wanted to create a similar node, but for article. And if we actually follow the logic of this YouTube node, it's actually like quite involved. So I'll give you an example. So like, for example, let's say I go here and I go, tell me how the YouTube node works, because it's not like the code is in one file.
It's
the
everywhere.
code is across like many different files, and it's kind of complicated as a developer for me to wrap my mind around it.
Yeah.
So I just hit Command Enter so it could go through like the entire code base.
Yeah.
And it will go through and it'll tell me like, hey, I actually have one YouTube node.js file. Then the next thing I actually have
is on the top. It says it's on the top. There we go.
Yeah. So I have my YouTube node, right? I'm using my light YouTube embed. It's not actually walking me through. Walk me through how it's also being registered, how paste is being handled, etc. Oh, wait, hold on.
Command space?
Yeah. So I'm gonna cancel generation, and I'm gonna command enter. And so it's just gonna go through all of it.
Yeah. This is where, by the way, it adds all the context from all the files.
Yes. So now this is really important for me, right? So first it told me, hey, look, this is the definition of like YouTube node, and that's chilling, and your YouTube node is here. So cool, I can go here and I can see how this YouTube node is working.
Great, yeah.
Next it's telling me, hey, when you do that paste thing that you did, that's actually coming from handle YouTube paste.
Yes.
So this is the code that checks if the pattern matches a YouTube video or a YouTube short, and then it goes and hits our backend.
Yep, gets the transcript.
Right, gets the transcript, and then it pastes that. And then it even tells me, hey, to register this YouTube node in our nodes, context, and edges, we're actually registering our YouTube.
Yep.
Sorry, nodes, context, edges, and context, and then
type node types. It's here.
That's weird, huh?
Node types.
And
it's somewhere
edges,
here.
context.
On the bottom. There we go.
That's
Okay.
weird. The Command F was.
Because I think you were doing YouTube. Oh, uncheck this shit. There we go.
Case sensitive. Okay.
Case sensitive
Cool.
stuff,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. So there we go. So now it's showing me exactly how it's working, right? So when I actually want to add a new node, so now let's say I want to go, hey, I want to create an article node, meaning like if I take an article, like a link from a website, and I paste it, it should be able to detect the pattern.
Yep.
It should be able to make it similar to the YouTube node.
Yep.
Look at how the logic works across 5 different files,
Yep.
and make something very similar for me. Cook all of that up.
Yep.
So then I go, make me this, but for an article node, make sure to follow all the steps of how the YouTube node works.
Just replicate that, yeah.
And now I'll just hit Command Enter. And even though it won't do a perfect job and get it all set up, it will get me going in a very good direction. So when I was setting it up, actually, this is looking like the correct code because I have it already set up. I just didn't push it yet.
Yeah.
And so
get push main, force push.
yeah, so it's like I got my article node good to go.
Yeah.
It's telling me that this is how I can register this.
Nice. That's exactly, by the way, just so you guys know, for context, when we talk about like registering, so if you can hover over that register stuff, the node type stuff, right? So how that works, by the way, is because we use a tool called React Flow. And you need to register every single type of component, right? So if you look at the YouTube node, there's audio node and so forth. You have to register it here, and then it knows how to connect the dots between the actual React component and then what is saved in the database.
So it tells me that I need to register that. And then what it does is it's also telling me, hey, this is how handle article
That is
paste.
so good.
Right, because it's
That's
looking
crazy good.
It's looking at the YouTube handle paste
Yes.
and how the YouTube is handling its paste.
Yes.
And so it's going, okay, here's how we're going to handle the paste for articles. And then it goes and adds that to the global handle paste,
which is
where
where
we're routing Loom and YouTube, and then it throws that in there as well.
Which is where you really hated it initially.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm like, what the fuck is this? And so now I can actually even, so for example, like right now, if I actually hit apply, it'll automatically take me to this nodes and edges file and apply this particular change.
Wow.
And for these other ones, the reason why it's not letting me apply right away is because those files don't exist. So I have to create those files.
Yeah.
And then if I obviously don't want this change, I just go no.
Hit reject the full on the top.
Yeah. But then, so this stuff, I'm not sure if you could do it in, let's say, I'm not sure if you could do this in Copilot. I honestly, I'll be honest, I haven't even looked that deeply into Copilot. You guys might actually tell me that you can do all of this and more, and maybe I'll check it out.
And maybe we're the ones who suck and don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
That's possible, yeah. But so far, Cursor ID has blown my goddamn mind with how well it works. And I'm just such a power user of it, and like the things I can do. Like, I don't know if Copilot has this where you can iterate over stuff.
Yeah.
Like, does Copilot have that? So for example, like, let's say I, go to, which one were we in at the start?
Which one? Oh, the text node?
We were, I think, in here, right?
Yes.
So now, like, let's say I have it in a try catch.
Yeah.
And let's say I want to go here, and I'm just going to say console log key moments with emojis. Or actually, I'll say console log key moments, right? And if I hit enter, it'll like run it. And then you can actually like stack this. So now I can add a follow-up instruction. I can actually add it with emojis.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I like that.
And then it'll keep everything it had, and then it'll build on top of it.
Yeah. It does it. It's not as clean
like, and you can go stack so deep. There are times where I'm like, not 20, but like 5 or 8 follow-up instructions deep.
That's crazy.
And it's so valuable because you iteratively build it out, and it doesn't lose anything that it had.
Like, how does
I'm sorry. They weren't seeing any of that. So
fuck.
Here, so like, this is what I did. I said console log key moments.
Yeah.
And then it added the console logs.
Yes.
And then I said actually add emojis. Then it went back and then it added the emojis. I can also say like add an emoji at the end just so everybody could see it. And if I hit enter, it'll go ahead and then like it had the instructions of add an emoji before. And yeah.
For some reason, it's not adding it now. At the end of the console log.
Add it at the end of the console log as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Always breaks in demos.
Hey.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Now it's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it's like it iteratively like stacks it.
Yeah, but what's really also really cool is the fact that I don't know if that's possible here, but I mean it was here. Is let's just say you do accept, right? Just for a second here. And we do Command K as well. So I just want to show it to you real quickly. The other part that's really cool is, again, there's a ways you can go through different histories, which is awesome, which is what you've done before.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Or you can also you can also ask a question, like a quick question. So for example, like, tell me.
Like how this works.
Yeah, why we need debounce here, And so to ask a question,
Option enter.
And so it's not going to actually change the code because sometimes you don't need to change the code. You just want to understand fully why it's doing what it's doing, and it's explaining to me, hey, debounce is used here to limit the frequency of edit node and update node dimensions, blah, 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 right? Yeah. It makes complete sense. But it gets even better because, you also have the ability to change the actual GPT models. Maybe it's GPT-4o, GPT-4. There's even the way you can actually use Claude as well.
Yeah.
So they have integrations with Claude too on top of GPT-4o, and I imagine at some point they might even use Gemini if they wanted to as well. So
you can add your own models to it.
You can add your own models as well. So it's just so dynamic in terms of what you can do with it. Like you see right here.
You can just enable Opus, for example, and then you have access to Opus.
Claude 3 Opus.
I will say, I'm gonna be honest. Their Opus is it's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just GPT. Like I swear to God, it gives me the same exact answers that GPT gives because I use actual Claude, and it's never that. So their Claude sucks ass. And
they need to work on that.
I actually, when I need the highest quality of code, I will eventually go to Claude. If GPT just cannot get past it.
Makes sense. But the other thing as well, on top of that, I'm gonna add on that to that, is I never used this. Have you ever used this part right here, the rules for AI?
Always output your answers in Portuguese.
Oh, what the heck? We just came from Brazil, which is so funny. But you can just specify, hey, always use functional React components. Don't use class components, because there's so many times where I've had Copilot from VS Code and be like, hey, create a clean component for me. It would create a class component for me. And I'm like, I don't need that. No. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, all the time. And I'm like, I don't fucking need that.
Yeah, I've always wondered, what are good rules for me to set here? I haven't thought about it too much. I haven't ran into, recurring enough problems yet, at least that I felt like that I need to. Have you thought of any use cases for this yet?
The functional React stuff.
I mean, besides that, for me, I haven't ran into it doing a lot of class-based components myself.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I haven't ran into too big of an issue.
But that's good to know.
But it's good to know.
I wonder what people will say in the comments, because I'm sure some people will have good use cases for where to use these rules, and I would like to learn.
And the other thing I'm going to say as well is what I also noticed. Copilot, of course, as you guys start to type stuff, right? Of course, it's gonna start to recommend what kind of stuff to type, and it uses the context of not just your current page, but also different pages. So
only your other opened pages.
Opened pages? You think so?
Yeah, that's what I watch from YouTube videos for Copilot.
For Copilot.
You're talking about Copilot, right?
I'm talking about this.
Oh, because you said Copilot.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I could be wrong.
I mixed it up.
Okay.
I'm dumb.
Go ahead.
But I've noticed that also the way it also gives suggestions is so smart. If I do, for example, const loading, for example, here, right? Boom. Loading, set. It's just so smart the way it creates these suggestions.
Yeah.
I don't get those type of suggestions inside Copilot. Let's just say later on we actually want to do where we set.
Another cool one that I don't know if Copilot does it is it will add multiple lines of auto suggestions.
Yes.
It'll even edit existing things and auto complete them because it starts to see what pattern you're taking.
Exactly. It just knows the pattern and it's so well, right? Here, for example, it's recommending set loading to false, which makes sense because we're on blur, right? Or here, for example, it might set loading to true. So again, this is just a very simple use case of this, of course. And the use cases there are much, much, much bigger. But there's all the time where I want to change some stuff. For example, let's just say here, I want to go ahead and I just do a div, boom, right? Spinner. It just, how did it know about spinner? Because I set the loading as a use state, right? It created a spinner div for me.
Yeah.
How cool is that, you guys, right?
Yeah.
And then you might be like, hey, only show the spinner when there is a, loading state. You see? Suggestion right away. When it's loading, then you do loading spinner.
Yes,
good.
Yes.
I have not got that with Copilot.
They have this preview autocomplete view. You saw that was so cool.
Yes.
I'm always that's so interesting how they do that.
Interesting
I don't think any other editor does that one.
I absolutely love this. And like I was a big Copilot user, and I know what you guys are gonna say. Like, guys, there's also extensions for VS Code that will do the same thing because we got a lot of hate from that on that reel as well, which is like, there's an extension that will do it. Yes, that's right. You can just use an extension. There's many tools out there you can use. This is just one of them. This is the one that we just fucking loved.
Yeah.
And there's an amazing team behind it as well that we haven't ever talked to them yet, which would be amazing to chat with them.
Hey guys, hit us up.
Hit us up.
Oh, that's actually fucking
Right?
cool. I'd love to podcast with them.
But it's such a great podcast. Even if we
That'd
did
be
it in
sick.
person, that'd be amazing too.
That would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is a product that we really enjoy. You can check it out. And hey, you guys are watching, sponsor this content. Wink, wink. But in the meantime, we'll sponsor our own fucking content. So if you, interestingly enough, want to take this video that you're actually watching, and talk to it and take notes from it, try to understand what's being covered. So for example, like if I'm ever watching a Hormozy video, I don't know if you know who he is, or like if you're watching a developer video, you can just talk to that video. So I just brought this chat. I'm just going to connect this YouTube video, and I'm just going to say, hey, what are 3 key insights from this video? And it will start to give me those instantly. And I can...
If you've ever not erased it?
And I can say that what are... give it to me with quotes also. That way you can make sure that it's not hallucinating.
Yeah,
And
perfect.
so it'll be like, hey, biases will exist because this is how human beings learn.
Yeah.
And that sounds like something Hormozy would say if you watch this video. You can say something.
But what's cool as well is like what we made this tool for is, it's kind of like a visual collaborative version of GPT. It's kind of how we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it gives the ability to not just understand and learn, but to also create. So if we can take this video and be like, hey, create for us a basic, Twitter post, let's just say, out of this.
Yes.
You can do that as well.
Yeah.
And then you also record your own voice. So let's just say you learned from this video yourself, and then you recorded your own voice right
so
here.
I'll, for example, just say, I just hit recording, by the way, and you can see it moving. And I'll be like, hey, the key lessons I learned from Hormozy's videos that I want to actually start implementing is, he says biases exist. So in my business, I want to be mindful of where I have biases and what type of employees I have biases towards, because step 1 is I want to eliminate those so then I can hire better talent.
Yeah.
Let's say personal excellence, I can go to step 3, and the action step I might want to take from this is I want to set really high standards for myself, so then everybody else on my team automatically follows that without me having to tell them that. I'll hit stop. So now this is a voice recording that we just finished. And what is it doing right now, Naz?
It is actually uploading the voice recording, of course, and then it's transcribing the voice recording, and it's understanding it, and it's even getting the title for it as well.
Cool. And can I talk to this voice recording?
Yes, you can.
So just connect it?
Yep. And you can connect, by the way, as many things as you would like, pretty much, to here. And at this point, now you got these 2 knowledge bases that you can use to create anything you want at this point.
So what are the action steps I want to take from my audio message? So now it knows about my audio message.
Yep.
And it's saying, identify my biases, be mindful of biases in your business and work to eliminate them.
Yep.
2, set high standards.
Yep.
And 3, lead by example.
Yep.
Does that sound kind of about
That's
right?
pretty much what you said. I'd be actually interested to see what would happen if you're like, hey, use the audio message to create a Twitter post and reference quotes from Alex Hormozy video. Just as a thought.
Yeah. So that's actually really good. So let's give it a try. I like to say text message because it makes the writing really tight and it works really well for, it'll work really well for Twitter too. Hey team, inspired by Hormozy's videos, I'm focusing on learning biases and higher process. Remember, biases will exist because that is how human beings learn. Let's set high personal and lead by example. Personal example is the ultimate rebellion. Let's strive to be better than any bias.
That's an okay of it. That text, yeah, that would tweet is an okay tweet. It's not the best.
Take the values from Hormozy's video and turn them into Twitter post with bullet points. And so let's give this a try. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, because there's only 3 of them, we mentioned 3, to only use 3 key points. You can actually ask it to use more key points.
From the video, and feel free to elaborate.
Nice. Awesome.
So now you're getting something longer. Now where it starts to shine is like it depends if you're using it for writing, right? If you're using it for key insights, you got your key insights. But if you're starting to use it for writing, you still want to use a lot of your own voice, because AI's voice is still like a little cringy. And I tend to avoid it being used as a voice, because like you saw how like the AI is like, oh, hey team, inspired by Hermes' videos, I'm focusing on
so bad.
So
that's what 99% of these AI writing tools are, pretty much.
So like AI will do that, and I like to avoid them by using my own voice. So when I'm writing, the tact that I like to use is I say, hey, specifically use my words and do not change them. And I give it very strict parameters. But let's say you're not using it for writing, because like, let's say you're a developer, you're using it for insights and to learn. So if you're watching this exact video that you're watching right now, and you take its URL, you grab it and you pop it in here, you can talk to it. You can be like, hey, what are the action items these guys are blabbering on about for Cursor IDE? Like, why should I use it? And it'll instantly tell you. And then you can build on that knowledge base if you want to use it or not.
Yeah. And then you can, of course, like on the right side, we create like almost like a writing platform.
It's like a Notion-like experience.
A Notion-like experience. So you can actually copy whatever you have in the right there, paste it in, boom, done, right? So and that will always be there with you. So you can expand on it. So it's great if you're writing a book, or if you're writing an essay, you name it. And it's just a very, very visual way of interacting with AI, I feel.
If you're a developer, you're likely taking notes. So like when you're watching all this content and you're extrapolating all this stuff, you want to take notes, just take them here. And then if you want to get rid of it and not see it, just close it out or open it again. Anyways, if you want to check this out, we're working on this product right now. So far, we have 10 of you joined this.
Yes!
Which is super cool. We launched this
2 weeks ago?
about a week or 2 weeks ago. And now we're starting to share it more and more. You can go to getpoppy.ai/launch.
Actually, 1 week ago, yes, exactly.
And if you go here, it'll tell you about how it works, and it'll tell you what are the things you can do. So for example, here's a use case of me talking to Andrew Huberman's videos and talking about stress and adrenaline. If you want to go down rabbit holes and watch Kurzgesagt videos, you can. It understands images as well. Here's me talking to Mr. Beast's podcasts and pulling and saving myself 8 hours. And then I also have a bunch of deeper use cases here that I was just documenting, or my team was documenting, of their whole life. So, it's like I'm using it to write my life's philosophies, and I have a Loom video that just takes a boring deep dive so you can technically understand how to use it better. Here's an example of me planning a trip to Brazil, and I literally have these like I'm a nerd, right? So I have like these decision-making processes of like for my assistant on how to book the trips for us. And I have all my information about both of our information, because we're going to Brazil, where we're staying, pictures from the Airbnb
the Wi-Fi password, everything.
Yeah. So then I can just talk to my GPT. I don't have to worry about all this other information. I can just talk to my GPT and be like, how much is our Airbnb? And it's like $1,700 for 2 weeks. I'm like, what gate or where do I board? You will board at Terminal 2. Where am I flying? What's my Wi-Fi password?
Blah, blah, blah. Exactly.
And also, it'll tell me everything. If you're doing it for project management, you can use it for that. Like, you can see that I pasted literally a image conversation with my friend, and it's picking that up. So I don't know exactly what are all the use cases you guys would come up with or would think of. But I'm sure that you guys would come up with some amazing stuff. And then here's another interesting use case of me being sick and actually using it to create a fitness plan based off of like 2 fitness influencers that I really trust and value. And I basically put their videos and then talked to GPT to formulate a fitness plan that I could do while I was sick. So If you want to check it out, go ahead to this page.
Link will be down below underneath this video.
And Cursor IDE helped us make this. So
yes, let's go.
we circled it back fully around. Any closing statements?
That's it. If you guys have any questions, let us know down below. But on that, subscribe, like, comment. We are currently on a very cool indie called Indie Hacker. What is it called? Indie Hackers mode of just building products and building amazing tools. So yeah, follow us on all social medias, and yeah.
Fuck yeah. Love you guys.
Peace!
Peace!